Hey, you're listening to Evergreen, a storytelling podcast. My name is Caleb, and I'm an audio engineer. And this is Mitchell.
And I'm a journalist. Here at Evergreen, our listeners choose the prompts, our guests write the stories, and then we bring them to life.
And this week, Mitchell and Josh penned a story together. Their topics were a rabbit's foot, a slipper, and her favorite alcohol.
And stick around afterwards as we discuss just what goes into a co-written tale.
So prepare to open up the storybook. This is Josh and Mitchell's story, The Lady of Two Libraries.
There once was a woman named Ruth. Ruth lived in a small cottage just on the edge of a rather plain woodland forest. She had not always lived in this cottage. Rather, she had moved out to spend the rest of her retirement here. Ruth, you see, had originally worked in a library, and figured that after being surrounded by books for her entire life, a retirement of being surrounded by trees was close enough to her comfort zone. An avid reader, Ruth saw forests as simply potential libraries. Every morning, Ruth walked down her stairs to her quiet, cozy kitchen to make some timely tea and bake a couple biscuits. This morning, however, Ruth was greeted by an unexpected guest. Sitting at one of the two chairs at her kitchen table was a small brown rabbit. It sat on its rear end with a biscuit poised just above its mouth. It turned and looked at her quizzically. Ruth looked back quizzically. The rabbit quickly put the biscuit down and turned to face Ruth and apologized profusely. It informed Ruth that she had built her house upon his old home. His name was Randall, and he simply assumed that it would be all right if he moved in. Ruth was aghast. This was her home. The rabbit apologized again, but began to eat his biscuit, as she had left him without a home. Ruth stood there for a moment before taking a deep sigh. Every library has its loudmouths, she thought. She decided the rabbit could stay. Randall was immediately overjoyed and quickly raced out of the house. Confused, Ruth followed suit to the front door. What she saw horrified her. You see, Randall had not come alone. 42 rabbits, all splendid shades of brown, poured into the doorway of her house and out into every corner. Ruth was quickly overwhelmed. Randall hopped up to her and thanked her again for her charity. He then began to introduce his family to her, as any good neighbor would. He introduced her to his son Alfred, his daughter Elizabeth, his daughter Angela, his son Francis, his daughter Jennifer, his son Zippy, his daughter Delilah, his son Francois, his son John, his son Jonathan, his son Jean-Baptiste Valencia, his daughter Sarah, his daughter Alexa, his son Lucas, his daughter Rachel, his son Peter, his son Robin, his daughter Robin, his son Levi, his son Elijah, his daughter Elisha, his son Matthew, his son Mark, his son Luke, and his daughter Mary, his daughter Sasha, his son Tyrese with an I, his son Harrison, his daughter Daisy, his daughter Carrie, his son Hayden, his son Barack, his daughter Hillary, his son Donald, his son Ronald, his son Audald, his son 38, his daughter LaQuisha, his daughter Courtney, his son Rasputin, and his child Anastasia, who hadn't decided yet. Of course, by the time Randall had finished with the names of his children, they had made themselves quite at home in her abode. First to go were her slippers. They were fine cashmere and had been one of the few things she treated herself to with the final bonus from her job. They made lovely pillows for Sarah and Francois. There was no talking Randall out of her new large family because, of course, it was still technically his land. She checked with her lawyer friend Bernard, but he did in fact confirm. The property rights of humans and rabbits were binding. Next to go was her bourbon. Ruth had saved that bourbon for over 30 years. She had bought it her first day on the job at the library, and was very excited to open it up with her lawyer friend Bernard this coming winter solstice. Jean-Baptiste Valencia drank it in a fortnight. When Ruth complained to Randall, he simply told her that that's why you shouldn't buy nice alcohol if you have roommates. In less than a week, Ruth was at her wit's end. She started wondering just how hard it was to burn down the entire forest, or whether or not a house could be lifted up off the foundations and put elsewhere. At least, that's how she felt until the 7th day. After 7 days, things changed at the house. Suddenly, if she lost something, it would pop up again at her doorstep. She suddenly started receiving checks from her library, payments that they had forgotten to give her beforehand. She went into town the second week and found that everything she wanted was on sale. It never seemed to rain on her house or be hot enough to kill her garden, and it never seemed to be too cold if she had forgotten to go outside without a jacket. You see, one good turn deserves another. While Ruth had done Randall a disservice by building her quiet, cozy cottage on top of his home, she had paid it forward. And now, those 43 rabbits, with their 172 rabbit's feet, were making sure Ruth would never want for anything again. In town, Ruth was known as the Crazy Rabbit Lady. But in her quiet, cozy cottage by the forest, Ruth knew she was the luckiest lady of 2 libraries.
Josh, scoot closer. Get over here.
Okay, I'm scooting closer now.
All right, there we go. Cool. Right in front of the mic.
So,
Hi, Caleb.
hey Mitch, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm getting married very soon. So
I know, very, very
Another
soon.
short episode for you guys, but I will say, I really loved this episode.
This was so much fun to write.
So technically we have 2 co-writers for this episode. This is the first for Evergreen. Josh and Mitchell both contributed this story together. Good job, you guys. I liked it a lot.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun coming up with the names.
Yeah, that was I think that was clearly the best part of the story.
How many times did that take us to get recorded, Josh?
Yeah, let's not talk about that. I have PTSD
I think it'd be more efficient to just say how long it took. 2 hours. Anyway,
Caleb went to the bathroom twice.
so,
I almost cried.
I did cry.
my favorite part was the clear, beautiful way of incorporating. When I got the topic of rabbit foot, I assumed it would be a single rabbit
Just 1 foot, not 174 feet.
You got 171 more than you asked for, friend.
I really
172.
enjoyed
Thanks,
it. Thank you guys for writing it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I guess moving on. So once again, this episode's a little on the shorter side. Maybe
Because there's a marriage. How do you
there's
say
a-
that?
Mallet.
Marriage, there we go. I can't do that.
a marriage. And we gotta make haste.
The story must
some of
go
these-
on.
Well, anyway, if you guys want to check us out, we are on Instagram and Twitter
Alrighty.
at Evergreencast. Our website is also evergreencast.com.
Feel free to fire us a message. Say hi to
Fire
us.
a message. If you guys want to tell a story, you can actually submit your story ideas, ask to tell a story, or even submit your story topics to the website. You guys whispering? What's going on? Yes.
Oh, Josh has a Twitter.
Sorry, Josh.
Plug your Twitter.
I finally caved. It's Josh_biscuit. Or you can just look up Josh Mascara. It's the guy with the hamburger.
Okay. Jump on. Get him on your projects, guys. He's a great voice actor. He's been helping us out a lot lately.
Yeah. Well,
And he can put pen to paper too when he feels like it.
It's true.
Anyway, so I really enjoyed the story. I hope you guys did. It was great. What if one day I really critique a story? I'm like, I really enjoyed it. I just really didn't like the part with the rabbits.
The pacing was just like the rabbit.
Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Mitch will see you guys next time. Maybe Josh will see you guys next time. Who knows? But have fun. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and favorite.
Stop, please. No, stop.
When you talk too fast, it starts making you sound like you're on YouTube, but I can't help it. Okay. See you guys. Thanks. See you next week, or see you in 2 weeks, or whatever.
He's getting married.
Love each other. Stay turned. There comes a day in every man's life when he must decide whether he is going to succeed or fail. As I sit here alone in the studio, I can't help but think that this is not that day for me. This is just another day, and honestly a really boring day, and I'm going to explain to you guys why it's just another boring day. Because this morning, I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I don't really know where this is going, but I feel like the 3 meals a day are the three important things of life. I mean, this isn't funny.